I'm grateful that I can speak to all of you, distinguished guest speakers, ladies and gentlemen, because the summit in Korea is very timely and important. In reaction to previous testimonials, very painful events or history in Japan and in the region, I want to say and express hope that the future is born through sacrifice, that the sacrifice of Shinzo Abe will bring better future, human dignity for all in Japan. But this is uphill struggle. And listening to the messages from Martin Luther King, who was also assassinated, but the US has changed, I want to repeat his message, which was very inspirational. We would get you on our side and our victory would double. So to get the others on the good side, on the side of justice, dignity, human rights for all, is the double victory. So I was invited to contribute to this summit after my London visit, which I'm very grateful for. And I want to start by saying that very often, by very simple means, we hear a simplified criticism that religion in the world is a source of problems and conflicts. I must say it's not true. It's a dangerous lie, because religion is part of humanity since ever. Pew Research Center in Washington, D.C. says that 84% of global population claim religious affiliation, and number is growing. So overwhelming majority of the world population claim religious identity. We cannot say that overwhelming majority of the world is a problem. And major religions teach and lead their followers to peace, love, and dignity. We should also remember that the most bloody dictators of the 20th century were atheists. Hitler, Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot. And what we see often in relation to religion, like, for example, terrorism, is simply abuse of religion. And those who do not understand religion, especially abuse of religion, cannot understand what is going on in the world today. And if we do not understand, how can we help? As we say, FORB is under pressure. Freedom of religion or belief is under pressure. 79%, almost 80%, according to the same institute, Pew Research Center, of global population live in countries with high or very high obstacles to their religious freedom. These obstacles are produced as social hostilities, violent extremism, terrorism, or they represent government restrictions. Intensity and character of these pressures range from intolerance through discrimination to persecution and even genocide. Yes, in 21st century, genocides. This is reality. And trends are worrying. So bad news is combined with worrying or negative trends. Therefore, like in protection of climate, we need an urgent global action. I would call it international religious freedom, climate change. Why religion matters? First, because human person is homo rationalis, homo moralis, and homo spiritualis or religiosus. These are Latin expressions for one person, dimensions of one being. Religion or belief is part of our conviction, lifestyle, identity. Faith and reason, like two wings, religion and science, are two motors moving our societies and civilizations forward to dialogue, peace, common good, if the criterion of action is truth, justice, and human dignity for all. I can say that Soviet communism has put religion in contradiction with science. And this brought impoverishment to people and decline of culture and state. The same development we may see in North Korea and expect and see in China. Second, peace is fruit of justice. It's not fruit of accident, but justice. Justice for all. Modern understanding of justice is based on respect of fundamental human rights. Religious freedom is defined as freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Already mentioned Article 18 of the UDHR is a very central right. It's important for believers and non-believers, for people from A to Z, which means for atheists to Zoroastrians, for all. Because 4 is a litmus test of all other human rights. This is reason for the importance and existence of the United Nations Special Rapporteur on 4. I was the first ever European Union 4 Special Envoy. After my nomination in May 2016, many countries established similar envoys, ambassadors, governmental plenipotentiaries. For example, in Hungary, United Kingdom, Denmark, Germany, Netherlands, Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and latest Italy. And the third, freedom without responsibility is not sustainable. It will cease to exist. Like rights without duties represent one-sided coin. Whenever we speak about or demand freedom, we should dwell on responsibility. This was my principal attitude during years of service when I met highest religious representatives like Pope Francis or Tawadros, Chief Rabbi of Israel, Grand Imam of Al-Aqsa, Ayatollahs in Iraq or Dalai Lama of Tibet. We need to listen to representatives and authorities of millions of people. Many of them represent lifelong and influential authorities respected by their fellow believers. When they speak, auditorium is usually crowded and attentive. In time of crisis, divisions, and growing conflicts, the international community needs to engage all important forces of peace and goodwill for more humane 21st century. It is possible to achieve more humane century. And time is right for the millennial initiative of the United Nations Interreligious Assembly. And the UN is here in service to all people, not for itself, but for the people. People with their diverse identities and justified rights. Ladies and gentlemen, how to achieve this? One stream of action is International Religious Freedom Global Movement. Communication, cooperation, and coordination among governments, parliamentarians, civil society, and faith-based organizations. Since 2014, these are good news. We have interparliamentary platform for 4. Since 2018, we have annual International Religious Freedom Ministerial Conferences, thanks to Mike Pompeo, very active State Secretary. I applaud him. Since 2020, even more important, International Religious Freedom and Belief Alliance, with over 40 members and observers. And since 2021, it's civil society-led IRF Summit, organized in Washington last year and this year, on the base of IRF roundtables. It is time to make voices and actions of the faith-based organizations more influential globally. And the other stream of action, and I conclude slowly here, is the continued effort where we need a special purpose action committee or task force with expertise and trust and with a mandate to speak to decisive authorities. On one side, these are major global religions. On the other, important state and United Nations representations. Idea of interreligious assembly or platform should be explicitly supported by religious authorities, equally by the newly established alliance already mentioned, and International Religious Freedom Summit, which is civil society-led forum, and parliamentarians as well. Broadly pre-consulted initiative and thoroughly drafted UN resolution should be then tabled to the United Nations General Assembly by several active and committed governments. I wanted contribute with this very practical political initiative. I hope it will make some difference. Ladies and gentlemen, why evil, mentioned by Pastor Paula, is so influential in today's world? Because evil has many influential allies, and three siblings of evil are the most spread and efficient. It's indifference, ignorance, and fear. If we don't care, if we don't know and understand, and if we are scared to do something or to say something, willing to overcome, we must therefore invest into active engagement, into lifelong education and courage. I'm sure this UPF Leadership Conference Summit in Seoul is exactly very timely contribution in this effort. Thank you very much and all the best to you.